fryers, they are virtually the same for the smaller one and the large one. So I'm going to show you both of them, but they're the same for both. You'll just want to remove the covers. Those can be ran through the dish machine after they're scrubbed and free from grease. Then you want to pull up on this handle and let the grease start draining into the unit below. Then you can take other supplies that you'll need are a large sheet pan, the green bucket, the basket that holds the filter. This is the box that the filters come in. You'll want one cone filter. You'll also need a product called Real Appeal. Comes in a 1 gallon size jug, some hot soapy water, a soft cloth, and again your green scratchy and blue scratchy. It's best if you put the sheet pan down on the floor with the bucket on top of it. That way if you spill any grease, it's much easier to clean the sheet pan in the dish machine than it is to clean grease off of the floor. And I place my cone liner in the basket. And again, to help with cleanup, if you take your sheet pan and stick it underneath, it's going to catch your drips, and then you won't have to clean the bottom of the unit. I'm going to lift up on this. And remove the grease basket. Then I'm just going to filter the old used oil through the filter. And take any of the remaining particles of food that may be in the bottom of the basket back to the dish room, discard them into the trash can, and thoroughly clean this with some hot soapy water. Run it through the dish machine and bring it back out here to the unit. The basket has been ran through the dish machine and it is dry. You want to just replace it. Lower the arm back down by pressing up and lowering the basket. Then you're going to want to put in about 2 tablespoons of Real Appeal. You don't need to measure this, just eyeball it. It's not much, just a couple of tablespoons. To this, you're going to add hot water out of the coffee urn until it gets up on the line where you can see where the oil sits. And then you're going to turn the unit on till the red dash lines up with the arrow, and you're going to let this mixture of water and Real Appeal boil to remove all of the parts off of the heating coil, all of the oil and gunk buildup on the heating coil for approximately 5 minutes. At that point, you're going to shut it off, and then you can spend the remaining time while it's cooling on finishing up your other items. The unit will become very hot, and you need to be very careful of it. So now that it is off and it is cooling, you can discard the entire filter basket, removing any of those particles that need to be taken out of the fryer. That goes to the trash. Then what you're going to do next is, on your same sheet pan, you're going to want to get an empty fry-on container. And you can grab a a funnel, and funnel the used grease into an old bucket. Once the grease has been used one time, regardless of whether we're using it again or discarding it, you will want to take a Sharpie marker and write "used" on the side of the container. That way that we know that it has been used at least once. So place the cap and put it back underneath the fryers. All of your utensils that you've used, the fryer basket, the sheet pan, the small sheet pan that caught your drips off of that, can be taken back to the dish machine, scrubbed with hot soapy water, ran through the dish machine. When they're dry, you can put those away and then come back out. This is still going to be warm to the touch. If it's too hot to handle, you'll want to use hot pads, but generally by now, it's cooled off enough that you will raise the basket again, remove the hot water, dump it down the drain. You can continue to wipe any stains on the front with hot soapy water, paying special attention to this crack or line that runs around it. You want to make sure and get in there real good and get all the grease off. A good product to use on those types of stains is Wow. It's a degreaser and will remove all of that. You can wipe the entire area down, including the sides, the bottom of the tray, anywhere that you might see any grease, including the control panel, up on the top where the knobs are. When you're done, make sure that you put the lids back on. This requires a half sheet pan as a lid.